Hello YouTube, this is Stuttering Gamer again, and this is my Colecovision I got from a local game store that's near me. They're selling this with a bunch of games, all the hookups, all the expansion modules were in their boxes, but the Coleco wasn't. Why? With the expansion module 1, which this is the only one I have out. This is the only one I care about sharing. But I do have the racing wheel and the other controller things that came with it. I think they're like for baseball or something. But the ColecoVision came out in 1982 by Coleco, which Coleco has an interesting history. In the early 30s, they were a leather company, and in the very successful leather company. And in the 60s, they switched to above-ground pools. And then in the 70s, they saw what Atari came out with, which they said, hey, we can do this. And so they did. They came out with their ColecoVision, which if you Coleco is just in, Coleco. So Lee is the leather and Co is the company. Co is the name of the state that I was in, which off the top of my head I can't remember, but it's either there's a number of states that begin with CO, so yeah. The controller was kind of weird, and the way that they packed it in, made its own carrying case, which definitely added bulk to the system. I mean, this is not heavy, really, but just large. Like when I show it to my friends, like, wow, that's a large console. Like, yeah, it's it's kind of a monster, but the controllers were weird. They had like this weird joystick thing, which I use it like this because just with my thumb, it doesn't. They have 2 fire buttons or jump. Then they have this weird keypad, which video game companies back then, I don't know, maybe had a thought that we need to add more buttons, but not without making it confusing. So hey, everyone knows how to use a phone, so let's add a phone pad to it, I guess. But then Atari added one to their Atari Jaguar in the mid-90s, and why they thought it would work again, I don't know. But every single system that had a keypad like this, did not adapt it to their next one. So, except for Atari, because they did it with the 5200, and apparently they thought it was good on the Atari Jaguar, but their sales of that showed them wrong. So the expansion module that came with it is kind of it's an interesting thing. Here's a box. It's the expansion module 1, and what it does is that it lets you play Atari 2600 games on your ColecoVision. Now, if we want to keep being retro, that's like if Sega made an attachment to play Nintendo games on it, or if you want to be modern, that's like Sony making an attachment to play Xbox 360. But yeah, I mean, it would just, there's a door right here that you would just attach this onto it. Hold on, do I have it? Oh, the door fell down. There we go. There we go. Alrighty, so yeah, just nice, clean, and easy attachment right there. So you just take an Atari game, like so, and just now it goes in the same position backwards, which that's kind of gay, but what you can do. And it has all the other controls for color, black and white, left, right, difficulty, game select, reset. It has all the controls for the Atari. But what I found out is that you cannot play ColecoVision games while the Atari is plugged in. So you have to remove this if you want to play Coleco. Which, that in itself is just... So, yeah, this... it was, has two controller ports here, and I don't know if you can see those two. Fits, either the Coleco, which these unplug from the system, or you can use an Atari controller. Now, the stack of games that came with it weren't actually that bad. I was actually surprised at the stuff that came with it. You have Donkey Kong Jr., Donkey Kong, which I like these two ports of these two games. Those are really good. Venture, Space Fury, Zaxxon, Avenger, Ladybug, which this is just, a rebuff of Pac-Man, though it is good. I will admit that. Carnival, Lupin, but it's the one from the Angry Nerd video where he does Coleco. He plays this one, which, yeah, it's really not that well. And also this one too, Rocky, which this also works with the Atom, which that was their computer that they tried to put out, which bombed horribly. Turbo, this is the one that works with the wheel, and the reason I never got to try it with the wheel is that wheel requires 4 C batteries. Yeah, no, not. And baseball, which just works with the 2 weird controllers, but I don't really care about baseball, so I'm not gonna. Maybe I'll try someday, but yeah. Now an Atari game and a ColecoVision game look very. They have the Coleco has like the rough edges on the side, but they're roughly, same size, but ColecoVision has this thing on the back, which it holds the pattern what goes inside the keypad. So some games have like instructions that go inside the keypad that you can so you know which button you're pressing. And which Donkey Kong was put out by Coleco for Atari, which apparently that has the rough edges too. But so yeah, I mean, this is not a bad, this system came out like right before the video game crash, so that's why it wasn't very successful. But this was a nice gaming console, and they did port a lot of good arcade titles that were done well. But yeah, that's all for the ColecoVision. So I'll see you in the next one.